The massive doors of the Galactic Council chamber swung open with a hiss. Amanda Peters stood at the threshold, her heart pounding in her chest. The human delegation consisted of just 5 people facing the most powerful governing body in known space. Behind her stood Admiral Tanner, Ambassador Riley, Science Director Morgan, and Security Chief Donovan. They represented the best Earth had to offer. Amanda stepped forward into the enormous circular chamber that stretched hundreds of feet upward, in a perfect dome. The walls were lined with thousands of seats arranged in concentric rings, each occupied by representatives of different alien species. Some floated in special atmosphere bubbles, others required mechanical assistance to function in the standard gravity. The sheer diversity was overwhelming, creatures of all shapes, sizes, and compositions, watching the human delegation with curious, many-eyed stares. At the center of the chamber rose a platform where 7 beings sat: the High Council, the ruling body that governed over 10,000 worlds. The humans had been summoned without explanation, 3 days after their exploratory vessel discovered an ancient beacon at the edge of their solar system. Supreme Counselor Verax unfolded his forearms and leaned forward, his blue crystalline body catching the light in hypnotic patterns. Humans of Earth, you stand before this council unauthorized and uninvited. His voice boomed through translation devices. You have been observed violating numerous galactic protocols. Amanda stepped forward, keeping her expression neutral despite her fear. We were unaware of any protocols. Honorable Counselor, Earth has only recently developed faster than light travel. We had no knowledge of the Galactic Council until now. Laughter rippled through the chamber, a discordant mixture of sounds from thousands of different anatomies. Counselor Drell, a serpentine being with golden scales, hissed through pointed teeth. Ignorance is not an excuse. The penalty for unauthorized expansion into protected sectors is immediate quarantine. Your species will be confined to your home world for 500 cycles until you can demonstrate proper civilization. Amanda exchanged a quick glance with Ambassador Riley. They had anticipated this response. She pulled out a small device from her pocket and projected a hologram into the center of the chamber. Images of Earth cities, forests, oceans, and humans going about their daily lives filled the space with respect. Counselors, we request the right of cultural exhibition before judgment is passed. This is provided for in Section 7 of the Galactic Charter, regarding first contact protocols with isolated species. The chamber fell silent. The Supreme Counselor leaned forward with interest. How do you know of the Charter? Admiral Tanner stepped forward. We found fragments of it in the beacon. We deciphered enough to understand our rights when summoned. Counselor Zelar, a gaseous entity contained within an environmental suit, spoke next, its voice crackling like static. You decoded a Class 9 security beacon in 3 of your Earth days. Impossible. Science Director Morgan smiled slightly. Our mathematics and cryptography may surprise you. Counselor, the council members conferred among themselves in hushed tones. Finally, Supreme Counselor Verax nodded. Very well. You may present your case. The exhibition period will last 1 standard rotation. You will be assigned quarters and observation access. We'll reconvene to render judgment as the humans were escorted from the chamber. Ambassador Riley whispered to Amanda. Do you think they suspect? Amanda kept her face forward. Not yet, but they will. They have to understand. We had no choice. The human delegation was shown to a suite of rooms in the diplomatic wing of the massive space station that served as the council headquarters. From the viewport, Amanda could see thousands of ships coming and going from the artificial world that housed representatives. From across the galaxy, Admiral Tanner secured the room, activating the privacy devices they had brought. Once certain they were not being monitored, he addressed the group. Phase 1 complete. They granted exhibition rights faster than expected. Ambassador, Riley nodded. They underestimate us. That works in our favor. They think we're primitive newcomers to the galactic stage. Amanda pulled up files on her tablet. The intelligence we gathered suggests that over 80% of species granted exhibition rights eventually receive limited membership status. Our goal is full membership with voting rights. Security Chief Donovan frowned, but we still don't know why Earth was declared a protected sector in the first place, or why they kept themselves hidden from us for so long. Morgan, the science director, was examining data streaming in from their ship in orbit. That ancient beacon contained more than just charter fragments. It had star charts, weapons, specifications, and technology blueprints far beyond our current capabilities. Someone wanted us to find it. Amanda walked to the viewport, staring out at the vastness of the station. Did you notice how surprised they were that we decoded it? That tells us something important. They didn't leave it for us to find. But if they didn't, Donovan asked, then who did? Amanda turned to face her team. That's what we need to discover before our exhibition period ends. I suspect there are factions within the council. Some who wanted Earth isolated, others who wanted us to join. I believe we're caught in the middle of a power struggle. Centuries-old Tanner pulled up the schematics of the council station. According to these layouts, there should be a central archive somewhere in the administrative sector. If we could access it. Morgan interrupted, pointing at her tablet. The translation matrix is picking up chatter. The counselors are divided on how to proceed with us. Some species are demanding immediate quarantine. Others are curious about us. Amanda smiled. That division gives us opportunity. We need to make allies quickly. The exhibition period is our chance to showcase humanity as worthy of membership, while simultaneously finding out why we were kept in the dark for so long. Ambassador Riley began organizing their cultural presentation materials. We have one rotation, approximately 30 Earth hours, to change their minds. Amanda nodded, her expression turning serious. Earth is depending on us. The resource shortages are reaching critical levels. We need access to the Council's trading networks and technology. If we're quarantined, Donovan finished her thought. If we're quarantined, billions could die. Outside their quarters, they could hear the station humming with activity. The center of galactic power continued its business while 5 humans plotted their species' future. The stakes couldn't be higher. Fail, and Earth would be cut off. Success, and humanity would join the interstellar community. Amanda stared at her reflection in the viewport behind her. The team prepared their strategy. The next 30 hours would determine humanity's fate among the stars. They had no room for error. The Council was watching their every move, judging whether humans deserved a place at the galactic table. And somewhere within the massive station were answers to questions they desperately needed. Why was Earth isolated? Who wanted them to find the beacon? And most importantly, which council members could be turned into allies? Amanda moved through the bustling commerce sector of the council station, her eyes taking in the incredible variety of life forms around her. She wore a simple translator device in her ear while pretending to browse merchant stalls. The diplomatic exhibition would begin in 6 hours, and her team needed intelligence. A tall, willowy being with 4 arms approached her, holding out a tray of glowing fruits. Sustenance for the human visitor, the merchant said with a melodic voice, fresh from the gardens of Nimbari. Amanda smiled, taking one of the fruits. Thank you. How did you know I was human? The merchant tilted their elongated head. News travels quickly on the station. Your delegation is the most interesting thing to happen in decades. Humans have been myths for so long. Amanda paused midway through examining the fruit. Myths, what do you mean? The merchant leaned closer, lowering their voice. Surely you know Earth has been mentioned in ancient texts for millennia. The sleeping world, some call it the quarantined, others say. But most interesting is the oldest name. The cradle. Before Amanda could ask more questions, a harsh buzzing sound interrupted them. A security drone hovered nearby. Its sensors focused on their conversation. The merchant straightened quickly, returning to their sales pitch as if nothing had happened. Amanda continued her walk, processing this information. In their briefings, Earth had been told they were unknown to the galactic community. Yet according to this merchant, humans were the subject of ancient myths. Something wasn't adding up. She activated her hidden communicator. Admiral, the locals know about Earth. They call it the cradle. Apparently we're in some ancient texts. Tanner's voice came through faintly. Interesting. Morgan found something similar in the public archives. I'm sending you coordinates for a meeting. 20 minutes later, the human delegation gathered in a quiet corner of an observatory deck that overlooked the massive shipyards surrounding the station. Morgan spoke first, activating a small privacy field around them. I accessed the public historical database. there's contradictory information about Earth. Some records show we were discovered only 50 years ago. Others suggest knowledge of humans goes back thousands of years. Riley frowned. So they're lying about first contact. Morgan shook her head. Not exactly, I think. Different factions know different things. The Council isn't as unified as they want us to believe. Donovan, who had been silently watching the crowds, nodded. I've identified at least 3 different security forces operating independently of each other. They all wear Council insignia, but they don't coordinate. Tanner studied a datapad. The merchant mentioned Earth being called. The cradle, I found references to that in some religious texts available in the public archives. Several species believe their ancestors came from Earth. Amanda looked surprised. Are they saying humans seeded the galaxy? That can't be right. Morgan adjusted her glasses. Actually, our genetic research suggests humans are younger than most spacefaring species, not older. Something doesn't align with established science here. Riley, who had been quiet, finally spoke. I made contact with the Brelaxian delegate. They agreed to meet before the exhibition. Their species joined the Council recently. We might get straight answers from them. Amanda checked the time. We have 5 hours before we present our case for Earth. Most of the Council members will be there. The exhibition hall is being prepared now. Tanner, go with Morgan and continue research Donovan's security detail for the exhibition. Riley and I will meet with the Brelaxian. They split up, moving through different sections of the massive station. Amanda and Riley were escorted by a Council aide to a small meeting chamber where a Brelaxian representative waited. The being resembled a tall humanoid with iridescent skin that shifted colors with their emotions. Currently, it displayed a cautious yellow delegate. Narina of Brelaxi rose as they entered. Welcome, humans. I must be brief. The Council has many eyes and ears. Riley bowed slightly. Thank you for meeting us. We seek information about Earth's status. The Brelaxian glanced at the door. Before we begin, I must know, did you truly find the beacon by chance, or were you guided to it? Amanda and Riley exchanged looks, uncertain how to answer. The Brelaxian continued. When my people joined the Council, 2 decades ago, we were shown historical records. Earth was not just quarantined, it was hidden. Powerful technologies shield your entire solar system from detection. The fact you found a beacon and made it here suggests either incredible luck or assistance. Amanda decided on honesty. The beacon appeared suddenly in our outer solar system. It broadcast a signal our scientists couldn't ignore. When we investigated, we found coordinates to this station, and fragments of the charter. Narina's skin shifted to a deep blue of concern. Then it is as I feared. You were meant to come now, but by whom and why remains the question. She pulled out a small device projecting a star map. The Council is not what it appears. Humans. It began as a peaceful federation, but over centuries power concentrated among the eldest species. The 7 who sit on the High Council have ruled for millennia. Riley studied the map. What does this have to do with Earth? Narina pointed to a spiral arm. These are the worlds that voted against Earth's continued isolation last cycle. These are the ones who supported it. The division follows ancient political lines. Our historians believe Earth holds something valuable, something the founding species fear. Amanda leaned forward. And what do you believe? The Brelaxian's skin rippled with purple uncertainty. I believe you were brought here to disrupt the balance of power. My people were the last admitted to the Council before strict expansion restrictions were implemented. Some say because of resources depletion. Others claim the elder species fear newcomers. A chime sounded, indicating the meeting time was ending. Narina stood quickly. Take this. She handed Amanda a small crystal. The exhibition is more important than you know. It isn't just about cultural exchange. It is a test. The Council will be judging not only your achievements but your potential. Some will see promise, others threat. The crystal contains historical records my people compiled about Earth. Use it wisely. As they left, Amanda slipped the crystal to Morgan. When they regrouped, the science director immediately began analyzing its contents. The exhibition hall was nearly ready. Massive displays showing Earth's history, art, culture, and technology lined the walls. Tanner pulled the team aside for one final meeting before the doors opened to admit the council members, "I don't like this. Something bigger is happening. We're being manipulated." Amanda nodded, but straightened her uniform. "Manipulated or not, this is our one chance we showcase humanity at its best while learning what we can." Morgan looked up from her analysis of the crystal. "The Berlaxians believe Earth was deliberately hidden from the galactic community. These records suggest a schism in the Council 3,000 years ago. Over what they call the Cradle Project." Donovan, who had been scanning the security arrangements, cursed softly. "The High Counselors just arrived. All 7 of them. I thought only a committee would attend. This is unprecedented." Amanda took a deep breath. The entire High Council meant their presentation carried enormous significance. The doors were opening. Delegates from hundreds of species filed in, taking their places. The exhibition was beginning, and with it, humanity's trial before the stars. The humans stood, ready as the chambers filled with representatives from across the galaxy. Behind the facade of diplomatic smiles and practiced speeches lay a growing suspicion. Something about Earth was special. Something worth hiding. And now, as the Supreme Counselor, Verax approached the dais. The humans prepared to discover what made their world so important to beings who sailed between stars. The exhibition hall hummed with the murmurs of thousands of alien delegates. Amanda stepped onto the central platform, flanked by her team. The massive chamber fell silent as Supreme Counselor Verax raised his crystalline arms. "The human exhibition will now commence," the counselor announced. His voice carried a formality that barely concealed his tension. "We remind all delegates that this is an observational proceeding. Only questions will be permitted at the conclusion." Ambassador Riley moved forward, activating the main display. "Honored representatives of the Galactic Council, we come before you as newcomers to your community. Earth has only recently achieved faster-than-light travel, allowing us to join the interstellar community. We present our civilization for your consideration." The displays around the chamber came to life, showing scenes from Earth, cities, forests, oceans, and human achievements. Riley narrated as images of art, architecture, music, and scientific breakthroughs cycled through the presentations. Amanda watched the council members closely, noting their reactions. The Serpentine Counselor Drell seemed particularly interested in Earth's biodiversity, while the gaseous Zelar paid special attention to human technological progression. As Riley continued the formal presentation, Amanda noticed something unusual. Many of the delegates were not watching the displays at all. Instead, they watched the High Counselors, as if gauging their reactions. The political dynamics were becoming clearer. This was as much about council politics as it was about Earth. Morgan stepped forward to present human scientific achievements. "We have made significant advances in medicine, physics, and sustainable energy." She highlighted key innovations, carefully selected to demonstrate human ingenuity without revealing their most advanced military technology. A murmur spread through the chamber when Morgan displayed Earth's progress in genetic science. The High Counselor Verax shifted uncomfortably. Admiral Tanner caught Amanda's eye, giving a slight nod. They had found a sensitive point. Ambassador Riley continued, "Our civilization values cooperation, diversity, and peaceful exploration. We seek to join the galactic community as contributors, sharing our unique perspective while learning from the wisdom of established species." As the presentation continued, Amanda noticed small groups of delegates clustering together, whispering. The council chamber had divided itself into factions, some clearly supportive, others hostile. A few remained carefully neutral. When the formal presentation concluded, Supreme Counselor Verax stood. "Questions will now be permitted." A tall avian delegate rose first. "Humans, you have shown impressive cultural and scientific achievement for a young species. Yet you failed to mention your conflicts. Your planet has a history of warfare, division, and environmental damage. How can the Council trust a species with such violent tendencies?" Admiral Tanner stepped forward to answer. "We do not hide our past, honorable delegate. We have indeed struggled with conflict. This is true of many species in their development. What matters is our trajectory. Earth's nations now work together to solve common problems. War has decreased significantly over the past century. Another delegate, a being composed of what appeared to be living metal, spoke next. Your genetic science shows remarkable advancement beyond your apparent technological level. Explain this discrepancy, Morgan maintained. Her composure, though, Amanda could see tension in her shoulders. Our understanding of genetics progressed rapidly due to necessity. Several global pandemics forced us to develop these technologies to survive, rather than developing outward toward the stars. We focused inward on healing our world and people. The questions continued, some pointed, some merely curious. The exhibition had transformed into an interrogation. When the topic turned to Earth's location and astronomical anomalies, Counselor Drell interrupted. We have heard sufficient. The Council will now deliberate in private. All delegates are dismissed. The exhibition period continues, but formal proceedings are suspended. The chamber slowly emptied, leaving the human team alone with their displays. Once back in their private quarters, Donovan activated their security measures. Did you see their reaction when Morgan mentioned genetic science? They were practically hissing. Morgan nodded, connecting the Brillaxian crystal to their systems. According to these records, there was something called the Cradle Project, initiated over 10,000 years ago. It references Earth specifically. The team gathered around as data streamed across the screen. Admiral Tanner pointed at a section. The project involved genetic experimentation on a massive scale. Earth was used as some kind of testing ground. Ambassador Riley looked disturbed. They were experimenting on our ancestors. Morgan shook her head. It appears more complex. They were experimenting with creating us. Our entire species may be the result of their project. A stunned silence fell over the room. Amanda finally spoke aloud. What they were all thinking. We're a created species. An experiment. The cradle was a genetic laboratory with our planet as the test tube. Tanner crossed his arms. That would explain the quarantine. They created us, then isolated us to observe our development. Donovan looked skeptical. It seems far-fetched. Morgan continued reading. The records are fragmentary, but they suggest a conflict erupted among the founding council species. Some wanted to continue the experiment. Others demanded it be terminated. The compromise was isolation. Earth was hidden, and a small faction was assigned to monitor our development. Amanda paced the room. This explains the divided reactions in the council chamber. Some species know about the project, others don't. Some want it to continue, others fear it. Riley sat heavily in a chair. So our exhibition wasn't about joining the galactic community. It was about the scientists checking their experiment. Tanner shook his head. No, I think it's more complicated. The fact we're here suggests the experiment is entering a new phase. Some faction wanted us to discover the beacon to come here. They want us to join the council. Morgan looked up from the data. The crystal contains one more file encrypted heavily. It appears to be a message specifically for humans. Working quickly. She decoded the file. A holographic message appeared showing a Brillaxian, elder humans of Earth. If you are viewing this, then you have reached the council as we hoped. The Cradle Project created your species, true, but not as mere subjects for study. You were designed with specific genetic potential that the council fears. You are the inheritors of a legacy too dangerous to explain in this message. Seek the archives beneath the council chamber. There you will find the truth of your origin and your purpose. The council divided between those who wish to control your development and those who believe you should fulfill your intended purpose. Choose carefully which path you follow. The message ended, leaving the humans in silence. Amanda looked around at her team. So now we have a choice. Accept whatever judgment the council passes down, or find these archives and discover why we're really here. Tanner checked his weapon. I think our course is clear. The archives. Riley nodded hesitantly, but accessing restricted areas could destroy any chance of Earth joining. The council. Donovan studied the station schematics. There are maintenance tunnels here and here. They might lead to lower levels. Morgan looked troubled by the implications. What if we don't like what we find? What if humans were created as weapons or slaves? Amanda stood resolute. We need the truth, whatever it is Earth is facing. Resource depletion, population, pressure, climate challenges. If we don't secure council membership or discover advanced technology, we may not survive the next century. But, more than that, we deserve to know our origins. The team began planning their infiltration of the archives. While on the council chamber, the 7 high councilors argued bitterly about the humans' fate, unaware that their experimental subjects were about to discover secrets buried for millennia. The true purpose of humanity was hidden in the darkness beneath their feet, and Amanda was determined to find it regardless of the consequences. The maintenance tunnels beneath the council station stretched in a labyrinthine network. Admiral Tanner led the way using the schematics Donovan had acquired. The humans moved silently through narrow passages lit only by emergency lighting. Morgan checked her scanner, keeping her voice low. According to the Brelaxian data, the archives should be 3 levels down from our current position. Amanda glanced behind them, ensuring they weren't being followed. The exhibition period gave them some freedom of movement, but if caught in restricted areas, they could jeopardize everything. Donovan paused at an intersection. The security systems are more advanced down here. We need to bypass this checkpoint. Working quickly. She attached a small device to the security panel. The technology came from the beacon they had discovered, providing them with tools beyond Earth's current capabilities. After tense moments, the panel blinked green, allowing them access. They descended further into the station's underbelly, passing massive power conduits and automated maintenance drones that paid them no attention. Ambassador Riley looked increasingly uncomfortable. "This feels like confirming their worst fears about humans," she whispered. "Breaking into their secure archives. On our first visit," Tanner replied without slowing. "If what the Brelaxian told us is true, they created us, then abandoned us to see what would happen. I think that gives us some right to answers." They reached a massive sealed door unlike the others. The design was ancient compared to the modern technology throughout the rest of the station. Morgan examined the locking mechanism. "This predates everything else we've seen. It's not connected to the central security system." Donovan studied it. "This isn't going to be hackable." "Not with what we brought." Amanda stepped forward, examining strange markings around the edge of the doorway. "These symbols look familiar." She traced the patterns with her fingers. They resemble early human writing. Sumerian or perhaps Proto-Sanskrit. Morgan joined her. "That can't be coincidence." Amanda pressed her palm against a central panel on the door. To everyone's surprise, the ancient mechanism hummed to life. Lights activated around the doorframe and the massive door began to slide open. The team exchanged shocked glances as Amanda pulled her hand back, staring at it. "How did I?" The passage beyond was dark, but as they cautiously entered, lights activated, automatically illuminating a vast circular chamber. The walls were lined with what appeared to be data storage devices of varying ages. Some looked incredibly ancient, others more modern. Morgan approached a central console that flickered to life at her approach. "The interface is responding to our presence, almost as if it was designed for human users." Tanner kept his weapon ready. "This is too convenient. First the beacon. Now this. Someone wanted us to find this place." Riley examined the ancient artifacts displayed throughout the room. These look like relics from Earth. Sumerian tablets, Egyptian hieroglyphs, even what appears to be ancient Chinese oracle bones. But why would they be here? Amanda approached the central platform where a holographic interface shimmered into existence. The controls responded to her touch, bringing up streams of data. Incredibly, she found she could read the alien script without translation. "I understand this," she said with amazement. "It's like it was designed to be intuitive to humans." Morgan joined her. "The entire system is accommodating to our biology." The Brelaxian was right. "We were expected." Amanda navigated through the database, finding a file labeled Origin Protocol. With hesitation, she activated it. A hologram appeared in the center of the chamber, showing a being unlike any they had seen, a tall humanoid figure with features that seemed to blend aspects of various council species. It spoke in a language none of them recognized yet. Somehow Amanda understood record of the seeding project. Earth designation, Cradle 1 Final. Entry before Council enforced shutdown. The being continued. Our work nears completion despite growing opposition. The genetic templates have been implemented. The evolutionary pathways established. Earth has been selected as the primary incubation world due to its ideal conditions and isolation. The subjects will develop naturally over millennia, guided by the markers we have placed in their genetic code. When they reach sufficient advancement, they will find their way back to us. Tanner looked at Amanda. Can you understand what it's saying? She nodded, her face pale. These beings, they created humans as part of something called the Seeding Project. The hologram continued. We, the precursors, face extinction. Our biological form can no longer sustain our consciousness. The council races, our children, have rejected our solution. They fear what we would become. They fear transcendence. In our desperation, we created a new template, humans designed to evolve along a specific path. Their unique neurological structure will eventually allow what we could not achieve: successful consciousness transfer into a technological matrix. They are our final hope for survival. The message continued, explaining how the precursors had created the council races millennia earlier but had reached evolutionary dead ends, unable to achieve what they called the final evolution. The transfer of consciousness to an artificial substrate. Humans had been specifically designed to bridge the gap between biological and technological existence. Ambassador Riley looked horrified. We're talking about uploading minds. This is what we were created for. The hologram shifted, showing the precursor growing weaker. Our time ends. The council has discovered our work. They fear humans will surpass them as they feared we would surpass our biological limitations. They will attempt to destroy the project. Some among them, our loyal children, will protect Earth, keep it hidden until the humans are ready. We leave this record and the tools they will need when they arrive. Our consciousness fragments will wait in stasis. The message ended with a series of coordinates pointing to locations throughout the galaxy. The humans stood in stunned silence, processing what they had learned. Amanda found her voice first. We were created as vessels for these precursors, designed to evolve in a way that would allow them to cheat death through technology. Morgan examined the data carefully. It's more complex than that. According to this, our brains were engineered with specific neural patterns that would eventually allow for consciousness transfer without loss of identity. Something these precursors couldn't achieve with their biology. Donovan looked skeptical. So we're supposed to believe some ancient aliens created humans as mind-uploading machines. Tanner gestured around them. The evidence is compelling. This technology responded to Amanda specifically. The door opened to her touch. She can read their language. Riley paced nervously. This explains the council's divided reaction. Some species know about the precursors and the project. They see us as a threat. Others have no idea why Earth was quarantined. They just followed the ancient protocols. A notification flashed on the holographic display Amanda activated, it revealing a hidden compartment in the floor. The section slid open, exposing a small device pulsing with energy. The final message from the precursor played. This key will unlock our sanctuary. The location is encoded in human DNA distributed across thousands of individuals. A genetic puzzle that only becomes solvable when humans achieve specific technological advancement. The council must not find it. Amanda reached for the device, hesitating. What are we supposed to do with this information? Do we tell Earth? Do we tell the council? Before anyone could answer, alarms blared throughout the chamber. The door they had entered through sealed shut. Security has been breached, Tanner announced, checking his scanner. We're locked in. On the central platform, a new hologram appeared, showing Supreme Counselor Verax, his crystalline form pulsing with anger. Humans of Earth, you disappoint us. Your exhibition was a facade. While you presented your culture to the council, you infiltrated our most sacred repository. Amanda stepped forward. Counselor, we discovered the truth about our origins, about the precursors, about why Earth was hidden. Verax seemed genuinely surprised. You know of the precursors? Impossible. That information was purged from all records. Then, your purge was incomplete, Amanda replied. We know we were created as part of the seeding project. We know why some on the council fear us. The counselor was silent for a moment before responding. Not all fear you. Some of us have protected Earth for millennia against those who would destroy your world before you could fulfill your purpose. Ambassador Riley moved beside Amanda. What purpose? The consciousness transfer the precursors planned, Verax nodded. The council is divided, as it has been for thousands of years, between those who revere the precursors as creators and those who fear their return. I am among the former. That is why your exhibition was so important. It was your final test. Morgan understood suddenly. You wanted to see if we were ready. The counselor continued. The beacon that led you here was activated by my order against the wishes of many on the council. Your arrival has forced the ancient conflict into the open. Now you must choose humans. Accept council membership, under our protection, or claim the legacy the precursors left for you. But know this. Either choice will have profound consequences for the galaxy. Amanda looked at the device in her hand, then at her team. The fate of humanity resting on a decision none of them had been prepared to make. Amanda clutched the precursor device, her mind racing with implications. The hologram of Supreme Counselor Verax watched them silently, waiting for their response. We need time to consider what we've learned, Ambassador Riley finally said. This affects all of humanity, not just our delegation. The crystalline beings seem to shimmer with internal light. There is no time. The council chamber has erupted into chaos. The discovery of humans in the archives has forced factions into the open. Those who would destroy Earth to prevent the precursors' return are calling for immediate action. Admiral Tanner stepped forward, his expression hardening. Then give us safe passage back to our ship. We need to warn. Earth. Verax gestured, and a portion of the wall slid open, revealing a different exit. I can provide you access to your vessel, but you must decide now where humanity stands. The council will vote within hours. If those opposed to the precursors win, Earth will face a sterilization fleet. Morgan looked up from the console where she had been rapidly downloading data. The precursors left technology far beyond our understanding, scattered across the galaxy. These coordinates lead to their repositories, their sanctuaries. Donovan, who had been securing their exit route, called out. Ships are being scrambled throughout the station. Military vessels. Amanda made her decision. We reject both options. She faced Verax directly. We won't be pawns of the precursors or subjects of the council. Humanity will chart its own course. Verax seemed surprised you would refuse the legacy of your creators and the protection of the council. What alternative remains? Amanda held up the device. Earth has faced extinction-level threats before and survived. Each time, we adapted, grew stronger. We don't need ancient beings to upload their consciousness into us or the council's protection. We need information and time. She turned to her team, showing them what she intended. They nodded in agreement. Amanda addressed Verax. Again, here is our proposal. We take this knowledge back to Earth, we study it, we prepare, but we make our own decisions about our future. Not as vessels for the precursors, not as subjects of the council, but as equal partners in galactic affairs. Counselor considered her words. The opposition will never agree to this. They fear humans will become what the precursors intended. Something beyond biological life. Good. Morgan said. Let them fear us. Fear will keep them from immediate attack while we prepare. Earth needs time, not subjugation. Verax was silent for long moments. Finally he spoke. You propose a dangerous path. Neither submission nor rejection, but transformation. I cannot predict how the council will respond to such unprecedented defiance. Amanda stood firm. That's our offer. Take it to the council. While they deliberate, we return to Earth. Alarms continued to blare throughout the station. Verax nodded reluctantly. I will present your proposal. The security override will give you 12 minutes to reach your vessel. No more. His hologram disappeared, leaving the humans alone in the ancient archive. They moved quickly through the hidden passage, Tanner leading the way. Morgan carried storage devices filled with downloaded information. From the archives, Donovan secured their rear, watching for pursuit. As they hurried through maintenance tunnels, Riley spoke breathlessly. Do you think Verax will actually help us? Or is he just giving us false hope while security closes in? Amanda clutched. The precursor device. We don't have a choice. Either way, we need to reach the ship, even if we have to fight our way out. They emerged into a lower docking bay where their small vessel waited, seemingly unguarded, too easy. Donovan warned, scanning for hidden threats. Tanner agreed run final checks before we board. This could be a trap as Morgan prepared the ship for departure. Amanda stood with Riley looking back at the magnificent council station that housed thousands of species. This changes everything, Riley said quietly. When we return to Earth with this knowledge, nothing will ever be the same. Amanda nodded. Everything we thought we knew about human origins, evolution, our place in the universe. It's all been rewritten. The ship was ready. They boarded, quickly Tanner taking the pilot seat. The engines hummed to life as docking clamps released around them. The station continued to flash with emergency lighting as they pulled away from the docking bay. Amanda watched on the view screen as ships scrambled. Throughout the station, some heading toward them, others engaging each other. The council really is divided, Tanner observed. Some are fighting to protect us, others to destroy us. They accelerated away from the station, pushing the ship's engines to maximum. Suddenly, defensive weapons locked onto them. Warning lights flashed across the control panel, brace for impact. Tanner shouted before the station's weapons could fire. Several ships moved into defensive positions around the human vessel. Protecting them. Morgan checked the communication system. They're broadcasting on an open channel. Listen, a voice came through the speakers, speaking multiple languages simultaneously. Human vessel. We are the coalition of free worlds. We stand with Earth against the old guard. Council, follow our escort to safe coordinates. Riley looked to Amanda for a decision. Trust them. Amanda said, we need allies right now. We can't make it back to Earth without help. Their ship fell into formation with 3 alien vessels of unknown design. As they cleared the station's defense perimeter, a transmission came through on a private channel. Supreme Counselor Verax appeared. You have more allies than you know human. The seeds of change were planted long before your arrival. The Council has stood unchanged for too many millennia. Some of us have waited for the right moment to challenge the old order. Your defiance provides that opportunity. Tanner kept the ships on course but listened carefully. So this was never just about Earth or the precursors, Verax continued. The precursors created all Council species, but only humans were designed to evolve beyond biological limitations. The old guard fears this potential, but others see it as the next step in our shared evolution. The coalition, ships escorting you, represent species who believe it is time for change. They will help you return to Earth. And what happens now? Amanda asked. Civil War. Verax replied regretfully. The Council fractures along ancient lines. Those who fear change against, those who embrace it. Earth stands at the center of this conflict. Your choice to chart your own course, unexpected as it was, may ultimately prove wiser than either path we offered. The transmission ended as their small fleet entered faster than light. Travel heading toward Earth. In the ship's common area, the human delegation gathered to process everything that had happened. So Amanda began. Earth is apparently a genetic experiment created by precursor beings who wanted to cheat death by uploading their consciousness into our brains. The galactic governing body has known about us all along, kept us quarantined, and is now splitting into factions over what to do with us. And we've just triggered what amounts to an interstellar civil war. Morgan smiled weakly. That about sums it up. Donovan checked the precursor device, which continued to pulse with energy. And we have this, whatever it is. Plus coordinates to repositories of advanced technology scattered across the galaxy. Riley looked troubled. What do we tell Earth? How do we explain this to our governments, our people? Amanda stared out at the streaking stars visible through the viewport. We tell them the truth. We show them what we found. We prepare Earth for what's coming. Because regardless of which Council faction wins their civil war, humanity is now part of a much larger conflict. Whether we wanted it or not, Tanner joined them. The coalition ships estimate 3 days to reach Earth. They have faster drives than our prototype Plenty, Of time to prepare what we're going to say. Amanda nodded, her determination growing. We were created for someone else's purpose, but that doesn't define us. What matters is what we choose to do with our future. The precursors, the council, they've all tried to decide humanity's fate for us. It's time we decided for ourselves, as their ship raced toward Earth carrying knowledge that would forever change humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. Amanda looked at her team. These 4 people alongside her carried the weight of species-altering revelations. What had begun as a diplomatic mission had transformed into something far more profound. The revelation of humanity's true origins and the ignition of a galactic conflict thousands of years in the making. Earth would never be the same, and humanity stood on the precipice of its greatest challenge. Would they become what the precursors intended? Would they fall under council control? Or would they forge an entirely new destiny? One uniquely human despite their engineered origins. The answer lay ahead somewhere between the stars as their small ship carried them home with news that would shake the foundations of human civilization. The truth about who and what they really were. And more importantly, what they might become.